Playing guitar is a skill that is possessed by many, but like anything, it has levels. There are those who can bust it out at a party and play fan favorites like Santeria, Stacy's Mom, and yes, as overplayed as it is, Wonderwall. Now, take a second and think of someone you know who plays guitar. You probably thought of someone by now. Now ask yourself, can that person play Eruption by the great Van Halen note for note? Probably only a few of you, if any, said yes. My point here is that yes, there are a lot of people who can play guitar, but to get to a level of being a great lead guitarist to the point where you can play something like Eruption by Van Halen note for note, it takes an incredible amount of hard work and dedication to master the craft. So let's say that you do want to make this commitment to becoming a great lead guitarist. What's the first step? Well, the first step is that you have to be willing to make a commitment and put the time in each day. I'd say about starting 3 hours a day, you have to be willing to put that time in. And in that time, you have to be willing to do the small things, like playing little licks over and over again until you eventually master it. But what is mastering? Well, according to my guitar teacher's guitar teacher, who happens to be one of the best guitar teachers in all of America, he said, in order to master something on guitar, you need to play it around 6 million times. Let's say this lick is just 3 notes long, okay? That's 18 million notes. And let's say this lick only takes 1 second to play. Okay, well, if you do the math, that is 69.44 days of straight playing that lick. That is pretty much a whole summer of doing nothing else but playing that one repetitive thing. And you also need to make sure while you're doing it, you have perfect technique. Because if you don't have perfect technique, you're gonna have to start over because you're developing bad habits and it won't be as good as it can be. Well, now that you are putting in the time, you're not done yet. You need to go to YouTube and start doing some research. And you might say, what do you mean by that? Well, I mean you need to start watching the greats, studying the greats, like B.B. King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Van Halen, even John Mayer. You have to slow down these videos and you have to watch and study how are they getting these sounds? What are they doing? What are the small techniques that they are doing in this? And you need to pick up on them, and then you need to sit down at your guitar and you need to apply those to your own playing, because if you want to be like the greats, you have to study the greats. Well, now that you are putting the time in and that you are doing the research, what's the next step? Well, the next step is getting out of the box. You need to be original because the world doesn't want another Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, or all those other guitarists that I just mentioned. They want a new you, and you have to be willing to give them to that. You have to start exploring the guitar. Just start stringing notes together and thinking, does this work? And okay, I like that, but what else can I do with it to make it work? It's not an easy process and requires you to start thinking creative, think of unconventional ways to do things. But it also starts up here. You need to change how you think about the guitar. Instead of viewing what the guitar can give to me, you have to think, what can I make this guitar do? What I come up with something in my head, and you have to think, okay, how do I get that to there? It sounds simple, but once you make that mind change, it is very powerful and it will expand your creative horizon. And also, yes, of course, with anything, you're going to get into creative blocks and stuff. And I say for the best way to handle this is that you take a few days off and those habits that you developed will kind of go down, level out, and you'll come back and you might be able to think of like new stuff that you can apply to the guitar. So yes, all this might sound very simple when I lay it out in front of you, but it isn't a matter of if it's simple or not, because it is. But where the challenge lies is actually following through with this and making that commitment. That's where so many people fail. They don't make that commitment. So while it is rare to know someone who can play a Van Halen level, it is possible. And these are the steps it takes to get there, but it takes pure hard work and dedication if you do want to become a great lead guitarist. Thank you.